if you decide to have sex, it's not only the man that enjoys, the woman enjoys as well. So when relationship ends and women say, oh, I gave him my body for this, for that, you also enjoyed it. You were not forced.
A lot of people are going through relationship problems and are finding it hard to get solutions. In this series, we asked our audience to share their relationship issues with us and receive advice from other people.
I proposed to her, and a week later, we had sex at her place. She didn't know my place and didn't know where I worked because it was a new relationship. On my way home after spending the night with her, my phone got missing. For 4 days, I didn't have a phone. I should have gone back to see her, but I didn't. When I finally had a phone, I couldn't call her because I was scared she wouldn't believe me. One day, she called and started accusing me of jilting her right after getting what I wanted. I didn't bother explaining myself because I knew she wasn't going to believe me. It wasn't intentional. I lost my phone. Mr. Writer, honestly speaking, you were very intentional. Under no circumstance should you claim you proposed to somebody and a week after the proposal you went to spend the night with her at her place. So if you claimed your phone got missing, and it's not that you didn't know her place, you knew her place. So what prevented you from walking to her place or moving to her place and informed her of the problem you've encountered? This clearly shows that you just wanted sex from her and nothing else. So all I could say is that you were very sure of what you did. It was just sex you needed, and not just that your phone got missing. The phone is not the only medium of communication you could have used. You could have moved to her place and explained things to her. So I could say that you knew what you did, and it was very, very intentional. There wasn't any love. You needed the sex, and you passed through the channel of love just to get into her sex.
She started talking about marriage right after sex. She had her life planned to every detail and knew how long she would marry after having a man. She knew how her wedding was going to be like, and even the ladies she was going to use as her maid of honor. I was just a young man still trying to figure out my life. I told her I wasn't ready for marriage, so she should take things slowly. Every conversation we had marriage in it. I got bored and left even before the second sex could happen. Okay, so this is someone's reason for leaving after sex. And I think he did the right thing. To me, he did the right thing because he couldn't keep on being with a girl who had her life already planned out before he came into the picture. And it's not wise to also be with someone when you know very well that you are not ready for what she's hoping for. So the best thing one can do is at that moment, live on a mutual understanding. You live explaining things to her why you think you want to leave or why the relationship can't go on.
I had someone in my life, a lady I loved so much and wanted to spend my life with. Somehow this new lady came along. She gave the impression that she liked me, so I decided to try my luck. Actually, sex was the aim from the start. It took me about 4 months to be able to get her. It was awesome, trust me. The best sex I've ever had in a long time. Right after sex, she wanted commitment. I was already committed. I pulled away from her. It killed her, but I couldn't do much about it. This is quite hilarious. From the onset, I think he did wrong by the two ladies. He said he had someone. You have someone, why do you want to go and play along in other fields? Next, I also think that he had spelled it out from the beginning in his mind. He wanted sex, nothing else. So, and he fought for it for 4 months. Interesting. But I think the best thing this guy can do is to be real with this new lady. He should have a sit with her and have a point blank chat conversation with her. Let her know that this was all he wanted. I mean, she would be all bitter, probably give him a few slaps here and there, but I think just so that peace prevails. And I think sometimes we need to be sincere. I mean, you are stuck with someone, be with that one, be committed to that one.
At first, she didn't want sex until marriage, and I agreed. One evening at her place, it happened. I didn't force her. She willingly agreed and we did it. A day later, she started making demands from me. I'll provide something today, and tomorrow she would ask for something new. She always wanted something, and I couldn't stand it. I started avoiding her until I finally stopped seeing her. She got angry and called me names. She said I was only after sex, but that wasn't the idea. She changed after that night, and I had no option but to leave her. Well, people leaving after sex, or men leaving after sex. So this lady in question, you didn't want sex before marriage. This man agrees, and then you finally decide, okay, I am going to do this anyway. Now you do it, and after doing it, you're asking for this today and that tomorrow. It will make the man think that you are in for it now because you want something from her. The thing that we do sex for money or sex for gifts should stop. Besides, if you decide to have sex, it's not only the man that enjoys, the woman enjoys as well. So when relationship ends and women say, oh, I gave him my body for this, for that, you also enjoyed it. You were not forced. You agreed to do it. So now, why would you be making demands after you finally given your body? Indirectly, you are telling the man that I gave you my body because I want this or that in return. And that will put the man off. And he wouldn't want to stay. So women, let us note some of these things that push men away.
We talked extensively about sex before it finally happened. She told me all the things she could do during the action, and I couldn't wait to finally have her. Finally, it happened, and it was underwhelming. She didn't do any of the things she promised. I gave her the benefit of the doubt and did it the second time. It was still the same, so I backed out. I felt lied to, like what I ordered versus what I got. I quietly snuck out of the relationship. This is quite something. When it comes to issues of sex, it's quite important for men. You know? So those preliminary conversations you have, when you give some sort of expectations, people expect that those expectations might be met. It happens for women as well. But for men, I guess, because their primal need for sex is quite higher, when it's not met, there's a possibility of a man rethinking his options, especially if he's experienced and has had other experiences, and make that comparison and realize that he probably might not be able to spend the rest of his life having mediocre sex. Or if he should actually spend the rest of life with the person, he might have to cheat on her periodically. And if the man has principles, probably he doesn't want to be in a relationship with someone and then decide to have sex outside of the committed relationship. So the best thing for him to do is to quietly leave without necessarily telling the lady why. Because most men have left relationships because the sex was not good. But because of our society as well, people don't want to say, oh, you left because of sex, you must be a bad person. So usually men keep quiet about that and then they go off, or they might stay and then cheat a lot. So I think sex is quite important for a man, and the person who wrote this, I'm sure, was a little bit traumatized thinking about leaving her. She probably might have been a very good person, but she, in his scale of preferences, sex is on top, and she didn't meet that skill. So I can't blame him, and I can't blame her as well.